Hello, it's Ralph again with your beginning networking one course here at Casper College. And let's see, so we are looking at week number 8, and we're going to be reading chapter 7, configuring routers and switches, and the midterm exam. So everything has to be in by 10/16. Chapter 7 is what we're reading, configuring routers and switches, and one lab, configuring address assignments for 20 points, and the following Professor Messer videos, and of course the midterm exam. So on the midterm exam, I need to update the dates here, which I will do. This is old, but anyways, you will have 5 attempts. I will take the highest grade. I'll do the best I can with grading, but you don't have to wait for me to grade it to take it again. So with that being said, I will take the best attempt that you have, and good luck on it. You should do very fine on it. Midterm will be open book, open internet, open whatever. Just don't use friends or other students. Okay, so let's see. We have the Cloud Reader here, which is the version I use. So you got your basic router configuration, switch configuration, troubleshooting connectivity, your 2-minute drill. I just wanted to run through this, pick out a couple of the highlights, and then we're gonna look at some things I have here for you. Okay, so when you get into the Cisco routers, you have a command prompt kind of like that, and you have to hit enable, and then right here, so you enable it, and then config term, and then you get into the config, and then you can start making changes to the router. Measure once, or measure twice, and cut once is my tips on that. So you can exit, disable to go back into the user exec mode. So just read through here, and most of this is not too hard to understand. They're just showing you the different configurations and how you'd get into like different host names and configuring interfaces. So let's take a look at that. We have the Ethernet, which you have to set up, the fast Ethernet, gigabit Ethernet, and possibly serial. Let's see here. Configuring fast Ethernet ports, so they give you the examples, and you just follow through here, and you'll be able to see how they are doing the interfaces and so forth. Okay. All right, so alrighty, let's go through here a little bit more. Okay, so here you get some good examples of what it looks like when you're actually going through and you're doing some configuration. So just take a look at those, and then a private LAN is going to be just like a business. They have their own network. Wireless, they're, you know, I think everybody's familiar with wireless. So you can have wireless that's on your LAN, and that makes it very convenient. Like your employees can pick up their laptops, go to meetings, and so forth. Wireless guest is a good idea. That way your guests have wireless, but they're not on your network. And the DMZ is the demilitarized zone, and it's the network segment where we place servers that people on the internet need to communicate with, such as the general public, web server, public DNS. A good example of this is if you had customers that needed to get manuals from your business or whatever, you could set one of these DMZs up, put a server out there, and have those manuals and so forth on the server in the DMZ, so they could get that information. And then the switch configuration, everything really looks similar to the routers. You have address learning, filtering. You have loop avoidance, where you don't want to get switching loops, which can bring down the network. So you want to try to avoid that. And switches use the spanning tree protocol to prevent these loops, so SDP. Flooding, switch will flood a frame it receives when it does not know the port that the destination MAC address is connected to. Flooding means that the switch sends the frame to all ports in hopes that it finds the right one. Forwarding is just where it sends it on to down the road and hopefully can find the appropriate port. Blocking, a port is placed on a blocking state by SDP to prevent a layer 2 loop. And filtering, switches filter traffic by only sending the data to the port that the destination system is connected to. Okay, so a managed switch allows you to fully configure the settings of the switch, such as the interface settings for each port, security settings, and virtual LANs. An unmanaged switch refers to a relatively cheap switch that does not offer the capabilities to configure the switch to suit your needs. So basically what that means is you don't have an interface to get into the unmanaged switch. You just basically set it up and use it. And here's some VLANs that looks like they're setting up here. And some more with their switch here. And you can see as they go into the different modes. And let's see here. So IP address assignment. And I believe that's what our lab's on this week. So cool. And default gateway assignment. So you can see how they're setting a default gateway there. And power over Ethernet. So basically power over Ethernet is where they're running 12 volts basically over the Ethernet. And the reason they do that is they don't have to run electrical lines. So it does save, suppose you need to put a switch somewhere where there's not electrical lines, then you don't have to add the electrical as well. You can use the PoE. Configuring VLANs. VLANs are just a way of segregating a switch. So you could have a switch that had, 24, 48 ports or whatever. And you could electronically make that one switch into several switches is what they're doing. So it's a good technique. It's a way to make the most out of one of your switches. If you have different departments and stuff you're trying to hook up, you can do it with one switch through VLANs. And let's see here. So we have trunking. Let's see here. So switches support a trunking feature that allows you to connect one switch to another and then assign the ports responsible for that connection as trunking ports. So you can piggyback basically the switches together by doing that. ISLs, the inner switch link, and 802.1q, IEEE standard for VLAN trunking. VTP, the VLAN trunking protocol, and port mirroring is port mirroring is also known as port monitoring, is a feature that allows the switch to send a copy of the data that reaches certain ports to a mirrored port. So, and then here is another one of those little exercises, but you don't actually have to do those. But do take a look at them because they show you kind of how the different command lines that you'd have to go through. Port security is a big deal. You don't want to leave ports that are unused open. You would want to close those. And port let's see. So in this example, you're setting the port to shut down, which means it's disabled until the administrator enables it again. So that means if somebody was able to use that port to do bad stuff to your network, they wouldn't be able to do that no more because you shut it down. And then switch management here. So let's see. Usernames and passwords, you want to make sure you got that all figured out. Console and virtual terminal passwords, and it shows you here how to go about that. The term AAA stands for authentication, authorization, and accounting. So a lot of people get authentication and authorization mixed up. Authorization is, well, let's start with authentication. So authentication is, who are you, basically. So you have to have a password to prove who you are, or what, or you have to have an ID badge to get in a building or whatever. And then authorization is, once they know who you are, what are you allowed to do once you get in a building or the computer network or whatever. Okay, going on, in-band and out-band management. So in-band management means that you configure the device using regular network protocols such as Telnet, Simple, SMTP, or SNMP, and manage the device remotely. Out-of-band management involves creating alternative methods of connecting to the device for management purposes. Okay, so troubleshooting connectivity. You have layer 1 and layer 2 troubleshooting. So just go through these and make sure you understand those. Layer 3 troubleshooting, so bad missing routes, wrong subnet mask, wrong gateways. So these are all easy things to happen to you. Let's just drop back here real quick. So switching loop, bad cables, improper cable types, that could be common. Port configuration, as you've seen in some of those examples, it could, there's a lot of command lines, so something could get messed up. Your VLAN assignment may not be the way you want it. And mismatched MTU to the black hole. You may experience network issues when the maximum transmission unit of the system does not match that of the network, so that causes problems. Power failures, of course, and most commonly you're just going to have bad modules in the switch or the router or whatever. Layer 3 troubleshooting, we just talked about that. So, and then your certification summary. The 2-minute drill. So run through the 2-minute drill. That kind of summarizes it for you. And then, of course, you got your questions here you can go through. Now, what I wanted to talk about here real quick is I do have, so this is a free course on Cisco's website. It's a basic router configuration. And you can go through here and you can see all the different commands and the detailed setups of what it looks like. So I'll post this on the website, and would like you to take a little bit of time to take a look at this and maybe bookmark this in one of your favorites. And let's go back to last week here real quick to get the link. So your Global Networking Academy. This is where you're going to have the virtual interface and so forth that you can start using these different commands. So this is going to be a really good place for you to practice. And then I just want to bring to your attention that they do have a lot of other courses. So you come out here, you hit courses, and then come down, and then you can scroll through and you can see all the different courses. So bookmark this as well. And so if you wanted to learn about the cyber security, and you can see the cost is free, and you could take it online self-paced, and you do get a badge of some sort for this. So they have quite a few different courses. They do have for careers, some employment opportunities. So we'll take a look at that and see what that looks like. So they have the Talent Bridge matching engine, be part of the dream team, your career, or talent bridge resources. So they do have a little bit of stuff out here on career, and then they have career advice. So you can come out here and kind of take a look at some of these different things, and pretty good site overall. So that's, I think, where we're gonna wrap it up for tonight. And good luck on the midterm. If you have any issues, please let me know, and I will get back to you. So have a great week. Ace the midterm, and I will talk to you next week.